to follow if it is organized in a logical pattern. In this speech, which organizational pattern does the speaker use?
One of the most stressful events in life occurs when you apply for a job and then don't get it. What's worse is that most of the time you're not told the real reason that you've been rejected. I was curious to know some of the main reasons why applicants are turned down for jobs. So I looked at research conducted by CareerBuilders.com in a survey of more than 2,400 hiring managers. I also looked at other interviews and surveys conducted by Forbes magazine and U.S. News and World Report. I compiled a list of the main reasons why applicants are rejected, and I divided the reason into 3 time periods. First, what happens before the interview? Second, what happens at the beginning of the interview? And third, what happens during the interview? Let's start with what can go wrong before the interview. Unfortunately, some applicants have strikes against them before they've even walked through the door. What I'm talking about is your online identity. More and more employers are using specialized search firms to comb through popular sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Flickr. These firms often find photos and videos that show a candidate engaged in excessive drinking or drug use or inappropriate behavior. Business writer Andrew Einhorn says that even a party photo that seems innocent can be interpreted in a negative way by hiring managers. The search firm also checks blogs and user groups. The New York Times reports that some applicants have been turned down because they used raunchy humor or made derogatory comments about racial or ethnic groups. One applicant was rejected because he was found using Craigslist to look for OxyContin, which is a widely abused drug that cannot legally be sold or bought on the internet. The way a person communicates online is also very important. Some companies want to hire employees who can write clearly and use good grammar, so they reject candidates who have posted comments that are poorly written and have spelling and grammatical errors. Let's look at the second time period. What happens to the applicants when they walk into the interview? A top reason that applicants are rejected is poor personal appearance. They are not clean, well-groomed, or appropriately dressed. One manager told Forbes magazine, "If you look sloppy, we're afraid you'll do sloppy work." A major problem is when applicants don't look as if they belong in the job they are applying for. For example, someone who shows up in shorts and flip-flops for an interview at the bank is making a big mistake. But on the other hand, this outfit might be appropriate for applying for a job to be, say, a lifeguard. Some applicants hurt themselves at the beginning of an interview with their ineffective body language. They give a weak handshake, or they don't smile, or they fail to make direct eye contact with the interviewer. This photo shows the correct way to greet the interviewer. This applicant is making a good first impression, which suggests that she's likely to be friendly and enthusiastic if hired. Now let's turn to the third time period. What happens during the interview itself? The CareerBuilder.com survey showed that some candidates are rejected because they don't know much about the company and what the company does. This means that they've obviously failed to do their research in advance. A big mistake in the age of Google, because it's so easy to search online and get lots of information about any company. Failing to do this research makes an applicant appear to not be very serious about wanting the job. Many applicants hurt themselves also by failing to show much enthusiasm. For example, do you think a hiring manager would be impressed by this woman's posture and facial expression? Not likely. She just doesn't look confident or enthusiastic. The survey by CareerBuilder.com found that 44% of employers said that one of the biggest mistakes is to make negative remarks about current or previous bosses. One employer said, "It makes you look like a sour, negative person who is not going to be happy in any job." Managers listed a number of undesirable behaviors that occurred during the job interviews: yawning, slouching, chewing gum, eating, drinking, texting, and answering a cell phone. Believe it or not, some applicants volunteered negative information about themselves. For example, one woman told the interviewer that she had been fired from a previous job for frequently showing up to work late. Okay, well, let's look at some of the highlights that I've covered. The reasons why applicants fail to get a job include embarrassing or inappropriate comments and images on the internet. As they walk into the job interview, they may be hurt by poor personal appearance and body language. During the interview, they may come across as unenthusiastic or uninformed about the company, or they may share negative information about current or former bosses. Common mistakes include slouching, eating, drinking, texting, and my favorite, volunteering information that is negative about yourself. So, the next time you or I apply for a job, hopefully we can avoid some of these mistakes. It won't guarantee that you'll actually get the job, but it certainly couldn't hurt. Good luck. I'd now like to take any questions or comments.